my research program at UBC, we have been working with a number of years with WorkSafe BC, helping support an evaluation of a number of occupational and health and safety programs. And so they approached us and asked us to take a look at the COR program. As you may know, it's available in a number of industrial sectors across British Columbia. And so we were given some of their data, and we looked at the evaluation, and have been doing that for a few years now, with the most recent evaluation being ones that we're sharing publicly. COR started in British Columbia around 2003. It was initially a pilot project, and then went into forestry as well as construction. So our study looks at the entire period, so from 2003 to about 2012, because we do need sufficient follow-up time to actually look at the effect on injury rates after a company becomes COR certified. When we look at the entire cohort of or group of firms who have achieved COR certification, we do find that on average they have between a 12 and 17% reduction in injury rate, depending on the type of injury rate that you look at. When we look at specific sectors, so for example in construction, we see a similar about 12 to 17%. So 12% if we're looking at the short-term disability, long-term disability and fatality claim rate, and then a larger effect of about 17% when we're looking at the serious injury rate. Where we see the biggest association is with construction and with forestry. So these are the two sectors that you could argue that A, they're the most riskiest sectors, so they have the highest lost time injury rates, and B, they have the largest number of firms that actually are participating in COR. So that's where we tend to see the association. And some of the other sectors, there still is an association, there still is a reduction, but it seems to not be as great. The study is funded by WorkSafe BC. I think who's interested in it, it appears to be that there's a wide interest in the study. I mean, I think that the COR program has been a main approach to improving health and safety in the province. There's been a lot of infrastructure involved, both with respect to setting up the certifying partners and providing support so they can actually go out and facilitate or do the COR audit themselves. So we're finding that WorkSafe BC is interested in the results, the certifying partners are interested in the results, as well as many of the firms themselves. So it's appearing to have a kind of wide and broad-based interest. To my knowledge, our study and this work is amongst the first to look at the effectiveness of COR, particularly using a design where you're actually looking at firm level injury rates. There have been other analyses where you're basically just looking at the overall injury rate. But as we know, there are a lot of factors that affect the injury rate. It could be economic changes, it could be introduction of new technology. So our study is one of the first that actually looks at the effect of COR certification at the level of the firm who becomes certified. We've completed the first analyses, the analysis. We've presented that both to WorkSafe BC as well as to other stakeholders, but we see that there's real value in continue to do the analysis. The COR program in and of itself is very complex. There are a lot of dimensions that are assessed in terms of, in the course of getting a COR audit. The COR audit itself is really trying to measure whether or not a company has an effective occupational health and safety management system. And so we see that there's real potential and value to continue to do some evaluation to look at what components of COR may actually be the most important in terms of improving health and safety in the workplace. It's good that we're finding an association, but we think that we can work with WorkSafe BC as well as with other stakeholders to help improve the process and the instrument.